What's up, everybody? We in focus. We in,
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I'm your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve, and got my pals, Mr. Gopher and Butterfly, just kind of hanging out by the lamp. You know, butterflies are in the moth family, and it's been kind of cold, so they're kind of warming up. But anyway, I know I'm running late here with this video. It's going to be at least a day late, and you know, I'm always $1 short. So I was watching some other VC videos, and they were doing this thing, top 20 American bands or top 25 American bands. And I thought, yeah, you know, that's a good idea, especially at this time in the world, you know. We can celebrate while we still have a country for the next couple of months. I was gonna kind of be a troll and just do bands that were named after different places in America, but then I thought, you know what? There's more than just American places in band names. So I would just gonna dig back into another cheesy idea I had a while back of just bands named after places, named after geographical locations. So without further ado, I got 20 albums here, and I'm just gonna kind of free associate here. First one, Ohio Express, Chewy Chewy. Yeah, bubblegum music on the Buddha record label. It's got their hit songs, Chewy Chewy, 1, 2, 3, Red Light, Simon Says, and you know, a lot of these albums were augmented by studio musicians, but they look like some cool guys, and this is a cool album cover. Okay, this was in my gift package that I might have shown you before we got into this. Herb Alpert's Tijuana Brass. You know, I just totally spaced. I'm like, wait a minute, Tijuana, okay. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, except some of them are Herb Alpert's Tijuana Brass. Is this his first album? This might be, no, it says welcome to another dozen great songs. I mean, he made a lot of records. Of course, this was his label. He can make as many records as he wanted. And, you know, Boston, the genius Tom Schultz, and Boston, one of the sounds of the late 70s. That crazy, unique, distorted guitar sound, larger than life production, ubiquity on the radio, especially songs from the first album. This is the second album. The guitar-shaped spaceship lands on this. Don't Look Back. And there's some really good songs on this. Like the title track, and Man I'll Never Be, Feeling Satisfied, Party, which is a song about a party. Nobody cares what they're doing there. So yeah, Boston, okay. Boards of Canada, I've talked about Boards of Canada, electronic duo. They were actually from Scotland. They were not Canadian. Their name is a reference to the Film Board of Canada that made a lot of kind of trippy educational films in the 60s and 70s. And they're kind of trying to capture the vibe of those soundtracks with their music. But yeah, Boards of Canada, band named after a place. America, America's first album, and Horse with No Name. Na 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 na. You know, you hear the Neil Young influence a lot on this first album by America. Here's another one. American Flyer. And this was a band, Doug Yule from the Velvet Underground was in this band. And I've said before, a lot of people don't like this record because it does not sound like the Velvet Underground at all. It's more just kind of light, breezy, you know, AOR kind of rock, like Bread or America. This is very findable for very cheap. Yeah. We're still in A. Asia. It was the heat of the moment. Prog rock fans had high expectations for this just because it was Carl Palmer, Steve Howe, Jeff Downes from the Buggles, and John Wetton on vocals. But they just kind of, it was more just kind of straightforward 5-minute songs. You know, they made a few albums. Great Roger Dean artwork. But that was not the only band named after a place that John Wetton was in. UK before that, they were a bit more prog rock. This album they had Alan Holsworth, Bill Bruford, and Eddie Jobson from Roxy Music, along with John Wetton. And In the Dead of Night was kind of a multi-section prog rock epic. Mental Medication, also a really good song. So yeah, the prog rock you wanted in Asia that wasn't there is in these UK records. Okay, here's another band. They had a long career of commerciality. Chicago. But there is some brilliance to the early Chicago albums. Kind of horn rock, jazz rock. This is Chicago's 7th album. And this is kind of the closest they got to fusion. It's a double album. The first record has some really amazing long jams. And then they get into some of the hit songs like Call on Me and I've Been Searching. Wishing You Were Here, that has members of the Beach Boys on it. But this record is a masterpiece. I don't know, maybe it's just sentimental because I used to have it on 8-track tape. But yeah, most of their albums have numbers instead of titles, and the ones with single digits are the good ones. Europe. The Final Countdown. This song is sentimental because when I worked at Tower Records, I worked the up until their bankruptcy when they were liquidating everything, and the last day before my store closed, the manager kept cranking this song on the speakers every time they made an announcement. What was hilarious was a customer came up to the manager and said, "Does this really need to be that fucking loud?" And he said, "Yes. Yes, it does. 'Cause it's the final countdown." Yeah. Where were they from? Were they from Europe? I don't know their whole story. I mean, kind of a one-hit wonder as far as I know. I mean, if they have an illustrious career that I'm missing out on, let me know in the comments. All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. That can be the first half. We'll do the intermission. Hello. We're in the corner, which is usually the compact disc corner. But this time, we're doing an unboxing because I just got a fragile package in the mail from a friend of mine, which is shaped like records. So we are going to find out what is in this package together. Alright, let's see. More duct tape. More duct tape off. Okay. Let's see. like one of those English. Looks like one of those English groups. Maybe they use malt-head Beatles. Oh, look at this. It's a Hard Day's Night. That's nice. High Fidelity. Alright. It's been a hard day's night. That's a classic. What else we got, Tom? Herb Albert. South of the border. Okay. Let's see what else here. I'm just precariously balancing this box here. Huh. Goldfinger. That's cool. Let's see what else. What else? Is there more stuff in here? Let's see. More Rica. Oh, there's one more. Ooh, this is a Herb Albert record I've never seen before. Summertime. And the weather is easy. Can you see this? The half moon. Oh, there's some other stuff in here too. Christmas with Eddie Fisher. Hey, there we go. That's Carrie Fisher's dad for you Star Wars fans. Oh, and some 45s too. And this is a very nice package indeed here. Chuck Berry. No particular place to go. And you two. That's How Much I Love You. J. Frank Wilson. Cavaliers. Last Kiss. And The Purple People Eater from Sheb Woolley. Well, damn. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's pretty cool. All right. And we're back. Okay, so I talked about America. Now we'll talk about the United States of America. Band from the 60s, kind of along the lines of 50 Foot Hose. Psychedelic band with female vocals and a lot of experimental electronic sounds. Brought to you by Joseph Byrd, was the electronics wizard and leader of this band. And the wonderful Dorothy Moskowitz on vocals. Who did the vocals on the Cracks in the Wall Sesame Street cartoon that was lost media for a while?
Camel, thank you for the ride. The rain has stopped outside. We'll go and see the cracks again someday.
And the price is right. The cost of one admission is your mind. Yeah. This is some classic psychedelia here. All right. So we talked about Asia. This is New Asia. New Asia from 1982 on the Situation 2 label out of the UK. And this is there was kind of this weird gray area where post-punk got really experimental, where it was almost leaning towards prog rock because they were experimenting so hard. And this is one of those kind of records. Definitely if you like that kind of weird, offbeat 80s stuff. This record turns up fairly often. Do grab it. Eyeless in Gaza. Pale Hands I Loved So Well. Another kind of dark, experimental, post-punk record that kind of leaned towards goth music. This is a really trippy record. And I believe Eyeless in Gaza was a novel by Aldous Huxley, I believe. Didn't read it, but yeah. New York Rock and Roll Ensemble, Faithful Friends. And no, that's not John Belushi in that. But yeah, this is, when is this from? From 1969. And this is kind of roots of progressive rock, because they're kind of doing a rock, pop, classical fusion kind of thing. And Michael Kamen was in this band, who went on to be a conductor, do a lot of movie soundtracks, and conducted the Metallica Symphony album. But Asking Too Much is a pretty epic song. And yeah. This is another Cheap Heat record that turns up a lot. Alright. Another one here. Omaha Sheriff. You would think it was country rock with a name like Omaha Sheriff, but it's more, I don't know if I want to say progressive rock, but it's produced by Tony Visconti, who worked with David Bowie a lot. So it has a very lush production. The first song, Quiet Please, is a 7-minute epic, and that's kind of the highlight of this album. Again, another Cheap Heat record, turns up in the bargain bins fairly often. Alright, this is one of my favorite bands, Mission of Burma. This is the record Forget on the Tang label. This record came out sometime in the late 80s, I believe, during the time when the band was broken up, because they took a hiatus because of leader Roger Miller's tinnitus. They took a hiatus, a 20-year hiatus more or less. They stopped playing in 1983 and then regrouped in 2003. But this is unreleased stuff from the 80s on this Forget album. Mission of Burma. They're from Boston. One of the great post-punk kind of albums. Ohio Players, Gold. But it's got the hits. It's got Love Roller Coaster and Fop and Skin Tight, Jive Turkey Part 1. And yeah, some early funk music, you know. And it's got the little inner sleeve with the warning about fake 8-track tapes and how to spot them. And how Jerry Lee Lewis was going on a crusade to find the fake 8-tracks and destroy them. Who could imagine that they would freak out somewhere in Kansas? How long? Kansas, point of no return. Actually, my favorite Kansas record is the one before it, Leftoverture with Carry On Wayward Son. But I just wanted to mention this record because the hit song was Dust in the Wind, the kind of ballad, and the rest of this album actually rocks pretty hard. It's not all restrained and mellow like that. But yeah, Kansas. Alright, this one's kind of, these last two are kind of obscure. This one somebody gave me. This band is called Dallas County, and they're on the Enterprise label, which was Isaac Hayes' label, run by the Stax group. And they are a horn rock band, a little more poppy than Chicago or Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Not really a spectacular, mind-blowing record, but it's, you know, if you like that kind of horn rock sound, which a lot of people don't. But if you do, you know, this is a pretty innocuous poppy horn rock record. Dallas County. Okay. And finally, Lynn County, named after Lynn County, Iowa, where they were originally from. Though they moved to San Francisco, played around the San Francisco hippie rock scene in the late 60s. Kind of bluesy, but with some sitar on some songs. This is their second album. They made 3 albums. And it's on Mercury. And they're a pretty cool band. And their records are kind of medium difficulty to find. But usually they're not super expensive. But if you want to hear some just groovy, kind of soulful hippie rock, Lynn County is a good band. Okay. Well, that's my video for this week. I don't know. Is it my worst video? Is it my best video? It's a video. You either watched it or you didn't. If you did watch it, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. And I will see you again after Turkey Day. So peace, man.